The Strongest Revenge. Please subscribe to my channel. It happened during a family gathering at my sister's house, on a night filled with chatter, laughter, and the comforting sound of people talking over one another. I'd always been known as the quick-witted one, the playful person who never missed an opportunity to make a joke, even when it occasionally went a little too far. That evening, as everyone gathered around the dinner table, I naturally slipped into that familiar role. With a teasing smile, I joked about trading in my husband if anyone was interested. To me, it was harmless, just a casual line meant to get everyone laughing. But the reaction that followed was nothing like I expected. The table filled with light laughter, everyone waiting for my husband's usual response, either a shy smile or a sarcastic remark to match mine. Instead, he leaned back slightly in his chair. His eyes slowly moved across the room before settling on me. When he finally spoke, his voice was calm, yet there was a sharpness beneath it, as though he had been carrying these words inside him for far longer than I realized. "Maybe you should," he said evenly, "because then maybe someone might actually value me more than you do." The atmosphere changed instantly. The laughter disappeared, forks stopped halfway to mouths, and my smile slowly faded. My husband had never been the kind of man to raise his voice or openly show anger. Yet in that single moment, his words hurt more than shouting ever could. Around us, the silence grew heavier. My sister lowered her eyes. My cousins shifted awkwardly in their chairs, and even my father cleared his throat as if trying to break the uncomfortable quiet. But nothing could hide the weight of what had just been said. I wanted to laugh it off, to pretend it was only another joke, but his eyes told me otherwise. They weren't filled with anger. They held something much more painful. Disappointment. In that moment, I realized something I had never truly stopped to think about. Every little remark I had made over the years, every careless joke I had directed at his expense, had been building up. And now, all of it had finally come crashing back down on me. His response wasn't simply a comeback. It was a mirror, forcing me to see how badly I had treated him without even realizing it. The evening continued, but the cheerful mood had disappeared. Conversations became quieter, and even the laughter felt forced. Later, while we drove home, I tried to explain myself and make it seem like nothing serious. I even attempted to joke about it again, but his silence swallowed every word I said. That silence felt heavier than anything he could have spoken. That night, I lay awake, replaying his calm but cutting sentence in my mind until it echoed louder than any argument ever could. I finally understood that what he had given me wasn't anger. It was quiet revenge, and somehow it hurt far more deeply than any fight. The days that followed made the impact even clearer. Whispers moved through the family, although no one confronted me directly. I noticed that relatives who had once laughed freely at my bold humor now approached me carefully. Yet whenever they spoke to my husband, their voices carried a new softness and respect. It felt as though his single reply had revealed a truth they had already suspected but had never dared to say aloud. I had been the one making fun of him, yet now I was the one being silently judged. My husband, the man I had teased so casually, seemed to have risen above me in the eyes of everyone around us. At home, I tried to repair what I had damaged. I cooked his favorite meals, apologized again and again, and searched for every possible way to bring us back to the way we had been. He never shouted at me or punished me with anger, but his distance was impossible to ignore. He remained kind, he remained polite. But the warmth that had always existed between us was missing. His quietness became its own language, telling me that once respect is broken, rebuilding it isn't easy. My punishment wasn't rage or shouting. It was the heavy silence of a man who had simply stopped trying to prove his worth to someone who had failed to appreciate it. Weeks passed, and my regret became heavier with every passing day. I began noticing that other people treated him differently too. His friends described him as strong. His family admired his composure, and even his coworkers seemed to respect him more. Meanwhile, I had become the subject of quiet whispers. I was the wife who had mocked her husband until his calm response finally silenced her. The balance between us had changed, and I was the one who now felt smaller in the eyes of those around us. One quiet evening, unable to endure the silence any longer, I asked him whether he still loved me. He didn't answer immediately. He simply looked at me with tired eyes. There was no anger in them, only a painful and exhausted honesty. "Love isn't the question," he finally said. "Respect is. And once respect is gone, love doesn't stand very long either." His words struck me harder than any confrontation could have. In that moment, everything became clear. What I had believed was enough to hold our marriage together could never truly survive without the foundation of respect. From that day forward, I began to change. Not because I was afraid of losing him, but because I finally understood the weight behind my own words and the damage they had caused. I stopped making jokes at his expense. I began seeing him for who he truly was, a man deserving of dignity, honor, and care. His one calm sentence had done more than silence me. It changed the way I spoke, the way I treated him, and even the way I understood love. Even years later, whenever our family gathers, the memory of that night remains. No one makes that kind of joke anymore. People look at him with a respect that wasn't there before. And whenever they look at me, I can still sense the quiet reminder of what I almost lost. That night at my sister's house remains permanently etched in my mind, not as a moment when a joke went wrong, but as the turning point when his quiet revenge forced me to face the truth. His strength was never found in loudness or fury. It was in his calm dignity, in the silence that forced me to see myself clearly for the first time. That single, calmly spoken sentence became the sharpest weapon I had ever faced. It left me with a truth I could never deny again. Sometimes the strongest form of revenge isn't rage.